Campaign 2016 tonight. Today, Donald Trump opened his first speech since the Dallas police shootings by demanding an end to hostility toward police officers. He also vowed to restore order in crime-riddled urban areas.
We must maintain law and order at the highest level, or we will cease to have a country. 100%. We will cease to have a country. I am the law and order candidate.
Trump briefly mentioned recent black victims of police shootings and said all Americans deserve to be protected from violence. Our political analyst John Keller is here tonight. And John, it's not the first time that a presidential hopeful has declared themselves as the champion of law and order.
No, it certainly isn't, David. And the context for Trump going there, invoking that theme, really reminds me of perhaps the most famous law and order candidate in modern political history, Richard Nixon. Now, when Nixon ran and won in 1968, this country was being torn apart by violence that makes our problems today almost seem tame. It was right around this time in midsummer of 1968 that Nixon began emphasizing law and order in the wake of urban rioting and the assassinations of Martin Luther King Jr. and Bobby Kennedy. This was also an era of intense, at times violent protest against the war in Vietnam. And with third-party candidate George Wallace pushing him from the right, Nixon's anti-crime rhetoric became a key part of his campaign. No wonder Trump is pursuing a similar strategy. But keep in mind some important differences between 68 and today. The electorate today is much more diverse. Crime rates have been dropping for years. A law and order crusade that's perceived as race baiting could help Hillary Clinton galvanize support from blacks and Hispanics. And beyond advocating the death penalty for cop killers, the details of how Trump would promote law and order are sketchy at best. Now, Trump has been masterful at capitalizing politically on news events, and this latest tactic certainly makes sense. But it's not without some risks, David.
It's interesting. You don't hear a lot of people who want to be like President Nixon, right? Also, Hillary Clinton, big day tomorrow, right, because it sounds like Bernie Sanders is going to endorse her.
That's apparently the game plan. They'll be appearing together at an event in Portsmouth, New Hampshire. It comes at an interesting time. There is some speculation that Donald Trump, appearing out in Indiana, may name a vice presidential candidate. So those would be two big stories. But given all this talk about crime and racial issues, it'll be interesting to see the dynamic between Clinton and Sanders. She scored a lot of points off him during their primary battle by claiming he wasn't strong enough on some of these issues. So they may be not exactly the odd couple of TV fame, but it may be interesting to watch the dynamic there. And that's what I'll be doing.
I know you'll be watching. John Keller, thank you so much.